Hey guys, we're going to be going to Belladonna, the final boss of the first Vision Worlds for Global, and getting a initial clear. So I currently do not have any Trials of Mana units, so we're going for the old school stuff like Sephiroth, Tifa, and Laura. So this is the team we're going to use. We're going to go with a fire team. We're going to be using Sephiroth and Tifa just for generic damage. Laura is going to be damage as well. She's also going to be our source of beast and human killer. She's going to also be doing the big fire and peril as well as the 90% defense break. Zahn is so we can spread those killers. That's pretty much it. Aerith is for 400% stat buffing as well as singing Zidane's STMR. And then Louise is going to be our provoker, also our gun and peril, and our fire field and mitigation buffer. So this is the team we're going to start with. Probably won't be my final team. I'm still considering, pulling for the Trials of Mana units, but I'm not going to let this one boss influence my decision because no matter what I do, I'm not getting, the upper ranks. It's just, it requires too much gear that the units won't do anything for. So if I decide to pull, it's going to be because I've decided that the units are a long-term investment, not just for this one and only boss. So we're going to go in here and do the best we can. This very well may not be the best team, even without Trials of Mana units. Potentially it might be better to bring a tank and save points from damage taken. But let's go ahead and give it a go, and we'll see what happens. And as usual, this is a day one clear. Clears later in the week might be more optimized. We'll see what happens. But to start off, Zahn is going to reflect just to put it on someone, doesn't matter who. Then Aerith is going to double limit. We're going to protect and then Shelga. The protect will bounce onto the boss, and then the shell will give us magic mitigation for later. So we're going to go ahead and stack the shifted LB of Tifa, Sephiroth, and Laura. And now that the boss is has protect, it's going to deal pretty low damage. So there we go. And now Louise is going to double Ionic. We're going to power boost and tactical armor. That's going to give us break immunity as well as put up some mitigations for later. So some turns the boss only does swipe. It's a single target physical. We're evading it, not a problem. On even turns, the boss does gravity. We'll talk about that more in just a second. So now back to the base form with Tifa, Seth, and Laura. All them back to the base form. Alright, Laura is just going to normal attack to fill her LB gauge. We're going to go to the shift form with Louise for the moment. Alright, Aerith's going to go to the shift form, and Aerith is going to do Sorcerer's Sidewinder. That's her shifted LB. That's for the 400% stat buff. Now we're going to do triple bolting with Louise. We're going to do triple bolting and then her Magnus. And then triple bolting with Zahn. Triple Stardust with Seth and Tifa. And we're going to get that chain count score out of the way on this turn. Alright. So chain count score is now done. Boss still has protect, so the damage taken is very low. We're not really pushing thresholds. The boss has thresholds at 80%, so if possible, you don't want to push that. There's half eclipse. That's gravity damage on your provoker. You cannot prevent it. The lower your current max health on your provoker, the less damage you'll take. Also, general mitigation does work. Guarding works as well, but we were kind of busy and couldn't guard that turn. But so try to keep your provoker's health as low as possible. It sounds easier than it is. It's actually pretty challenging, especially when Louise is our provoker, because she life leeches health back up. It's a big headache. Like I said, I might think about it and think of a better person to be our tank, because Louise has some downsides being our tank. Like maybe it'd be better to have like Sephiroth or something as the provoker. I don't know. But in any case, for now, we're using Louise. So Zahn is going to reflect on this turn again. And back to the base form with Aerith. And we're just going to refresh the Protect and Shell buffs. So let's go ahead and double limit. We're going to start with Protect to bounce it to the boss, and then Shelga on the party. Alright. Let's see. Laura is going to shift and do her shifted LB this turn. Stack it up again. Do this before we do Louise. Alright, now Louise is going to triple. We're going to triple or quad. We're going to triple Ionic and then neutralizing for the 80% magic break. This turn, the boss is doing an AoE non-elemental magic attack. Because we're not using a tank, it's going to hit the whole party. So break the boss's magic and use the best mitigations you can on your party. We've got Shell +2 from Aerith for 50 magic mitt. We've got 400% spirit buff, and we've got a 40% general mitt from Louise currently. Alright, so Tifa is just going to rallying cry for something to do, and Sephiroth is just going to meet and beat Boolean for a mana regen, just to keep Louise's mana up, but she does get mana drain sometimes. Alright, there's a mana drain on Louise. It's also a full dispel, keep that in mind. Here's the non-elemental magic attack. It does relatively, not like high or anything, but enough damage that we're definitely going to be losing a ton of points on damage taken. Might even be getting a 0 on damage taken. Again, I don't really know if it's worth bringing a tank and saving 10,000 score because of damage taken. I don't know. We're going to play with it during the week, but for now, we're just going to like eat the damage to the face. All right, so Laura back to the base form, and we're just going to normal attack again. Sephiroth and Tifa can just rallying cry and mana regen. All right, we're going to start singing Zidane's STMR song with Aerith, so we can do a turn 9 clear. Louise, back to the base form. This turn, we're going to do Power Boost, Tactical Armor. We're going to double Ionic, and whoops, what did I do wrong? Oh, I know. Power Boost, Tactical, I'm sorry, 1 Ionic, and then Fire Starter. All right, wait for this to finish. Alright, now Zahn's going to double up. We're going to Elemental on Louise to copy that Fire Imbue, and we're going to Critical on himself just to refresh Aerith's LB to keep those 400% stat buffs going. So again, gravity damage here. This is why we actually didn't want to heal our Louise if possible, so that she takes less damage from the gravity that turn. Now, the boss buffed up this turn with Rose Slash, a big attack and magic buff. On turn 5, the boss only does single target physical, which we're evading, so we don't really care about that magic buff yet. We are going to deal with it a little bit later, though. So for this turn, we're going to go ahead and shift our Laura, and we're going to do Queen of the Jungle. That's going to be the 200% attack and... I'm sorry, the 200% Beast and Human Killer buff. We're going to, again, just use Rallying with Tifa. This time, Sephiroth is going to Curaga just to heal the party off, because we're going to be taking some more damage on turn 6, and Laura took some damage. We don't want anyone to die, so we're just topping off the party with Sephiroth. Louise is going to shift this turn. Let's see the teams. Does anyone need LB gauge? Okay, so LB gauge is filled across the board. Laura doesn't matter, she fills her own. So we're just going to use neutralizing. If you needed LB on anyone, you would use Ionic as well, but all we need is neutralizing this turn from Laura. That's going to break the boss's magic yet again. Alright, so Zahn on this turn is going to double up. We're going to Critical on Laura to copy those killers, and we're going to Elemental on himself just to keep that Fire Imbue rolling. Alright. Let me check one thing. I did copy the Fire Imbue, right? For some reason I have it in my head that I didn't copy the Fire Imbue. Yeah, I copied it. Okay. Anyway, yeah, turn 5 is just physical damage, no magic, so you don't got to worry about the boss's buff. This is turn 6. Now you could like gear your team to kill the boss on turn 6. You know, 5 turns of setup, burst on turn 6. That would mean you're only taking a single AoE magic damage. Might be worth doing, but I'm going for a turn 9 clear, so we're taking another AoE magic attack on this turn. Alright, so to deal with it, we're going to first of all go back to the base with Laura and just normal attack. We're going to also do the base form LB of Sephiroth and the base form LB of Tifa. These are just for the 125% imperil to water and darkness. Alright, so that's done. Now the boss still has Protect and Shell Protect from earlier. Also still has those attack and magic buffs. Let's go to the base form with Louise, and we're going to do Power Boost, Tactical Armor, and then we'll just do the Killer buff twice. Let's do this real quick. Alright, now Zahn will Black Mirror his Magnet. That's a perfect dispel. It's going to, there we go. It's going to get rid of the boss's magic buff, but keep all those debuffs up. So this turn, it'll take less damage from Hexus. It's still going to deal a lot of damage. We're getting dispelled on Laura or Louise. Yep. So a lot of damage. Louise is low in health. It's actually a good thing because now we're going to be taking less of a score loss from the gravity damage on turn 8. Although I think at this point we're already probably at 0 points on score. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, Tifa this turn rallying. Sephiroth just meet and beat Boolean again for the mana regen. What's her name? Laura is going to shift and do her Magnus. Now her Magnus is a 90% defense break. It also gives her the fire amplify for later. We need to shift Louise this turn, and we're going to do, let's see, we're going to do Ionic, Neutralizing, Disarming, and the Field. Alright. Yeah. So this is going to actually life... This is what I was talking about. Stupid Louise. She life drained back to full, so she's taking more damage from the gravity damage coming up soon. I wish she didn't do that, but she does. Alright, so Zahn is just going to do Elemental and Critical on himself, just to preserve those buffs. It'll you know, roll them for longer. Turn 7 is just physical damage from the boss. No big deal. Okay. Now it's turn 8, and we're still getting set up. So back to the base form with Louise. Alright, back to the base form with Laura. Laura is going to normal attack again to fill her LB gauge. It is time for Sephiroth and Tifa to do their Magnus abilities, who we're killing next turn. Alright, in the base form, Louise is going to Magnus, Killer Buff, Amplify, and Power Boost. Alright, wait for all this to finish. Alright, let me actually change one thing on my chart real quick. Alright, there we go. So now we're going to use Zahn to double up. We're going to critical on Louise, which might not even be that important. And then we're going to projected mirror to spread all these buffs to the party. So there's going to be a gravity damage on this turn, and that's it. There's gravity, more points lost. Yeah, we're definitely getting 0 in damage taken. And then the boss is going to buff up. And turn 9 is another non-elemental magic attack. So if you're not killing on turn 9, you want to make sure the boss's magic is broken, potentially dispel that boss's magic buff. But we're killing this turn. So we've got all the debuffs on the boss. Good to go. Let's go ahead and shift everyone. We've got the 300% LB buff from Zidane's STMR. We've still got the 400% buff from Aerith's LB earlier because Zahn kept that rolling. We've got the 200% killer buffs from Zahn as well from stealing from Louise. Okay, so everyone is in the shift form this turn except Zahn. So just check some stats real quick. 9788 attack on Laura, 10,000 on Seth, 10.8 on Tifa, and then technically Aerith has 8200 magic, but her damage is garbage. Okay, so we're going to LB with Seth, Tifa, and Laura. Those three are the real damage dealers. We're going to do the LB on Aerith just to keep Tifa's chain going. Louise is going to quad. We're going to triple bolting and nano machine. One thing to be mindful of is Louise was mana drained a few times during the fight. I actually did a run earlier, and she ended up not having enough MP on this turn to chain. So I gave her some mana reduction gear, and that's the reason we gave Ignis TMR to Sephiroth for the mana regen. So at this point, Louise's mana is fine, but keep that in mind, your Louise might be low on mana on the burst turn. So either give her mana reduction gear, give her more mana regen gear, or use something like Ignis TMR on a support unit during the fight. Anyway, and then Zahn is going to triple bolting to chain with Louise. Okay, so we're going to chain Louise and Zahn first. They're going to build the chain. Once the chain is at max modifier, we're going to jump in with Tifa and Aerith chaining together. Tifa's LB chains with Aerith's LB, and then Seth and Laura are going to cap. And if we did this correctly, we're going to get a 83-point chain. So let's give it a go and pray for good variance. So here we go. Change this up. There we go. The chain broke. I'm going to start the turnover because it could just be bad frames or whatever, or bad timing. I'm just going to try it again. So I will be, yeah, it's a little bit of a headache because of the stupid Magnus on Louise, and Louise doesn't have the option to triple cast. So I'm going to start that over, and we're going to try it again. Be right back. Alright guys, we're going to try that turn again. We're just going to basically try to chain it properly this time because bolting, Magnus. Yeah, I really wish Louise had triple cast. We wouldn't have these headache problems. Alright, let's try this again. And if the chain breaks again, we're going to be very sad. But we're looking for a 83-point chain. Alright, that looked like it worked. So I think we're good. 83-point chain, 923 million. Okay, yeah, so the chain is a headache. Blame Goomy for not giving Louise triple cast. But anyway, there it is. So here's our damage breakdown. Lara Croft coming in hot. Look at that. Although she did have a gun with gun in peril because Sephiroth doesn't have the variance update, so he's using a bad katana that gets fixed in the future. Tifa, pretty bad. She's actually double hand too. Ouch. Anyway, there was the team. Now, as far as like Trials of Mana units, I don't know. Oh, look at that. Damage received. We actually got 1,001 points for it, but we lost a ton. And our most damage in one turn was only 15,000. So I could have gained about 9,000, almost like 60% more damage from most damage in one turn. I could have gone to like, or I could have gotten 9,000 more and lost. You know what? I think potentially dropping Tifa would be worth it. I think maybe I should drop Tifa and bring a tank. I might do that. I absolutely might drop Tifa and bring a tank because she contributed nothing, and she was the worst damage dealer. She contributed nothing, and I would lose like 4,000 points on damage dealt, but I would gain about 9,000 points on damage taken. So yeah, I am fairly certain that on a rerun, I will be not using Tifa. We will be taking a tank. That also frees up a little bit of gear for the rest of the party. I'll show you the team, what we did. So here's the party we used. Yeah, I'll definitely, absolutely be making changes later. So Zahn was geared for Spirit because we were just eating the damage. That's going to be changing. We never used dual cast, and we don't need evasion or anything. Yeah, his gear is basically irrelevant, just a little bit of Spirit. He did the support, did the buff stealing. Louise in the base form was our provoker. Honestly, she's a bad choice. I should not have used Louise as my provoker because she life leeches and she forced us to take max damage from the gravity every single time. I will definitely be making changes. This is my first run, so this is what you get for the first run. It is not optimized yet. I learn as I go and practice. Yeah, she will not be the provoker in future runs. If she's even here in future runs, I might even drop her entirely because the only reason she's here, honestly, is to give a gun in peril for Laura. And is that even worth it? I don't know. It might not be. I don't know. I might drop Louise entirely. This is an initial run. I'm gonna be adjusting. So here's the team, the party, the gear she used. Shift form, just a lot of passive provoke, evasion, and a lot of bulk, a lot of auto buffing with Saintly Castle, Wisdom of Hess, etc. Laura in the base form, just Spirit, dual wield with the TMR. Shift form, gun build, double hand, LB damage. I think she's maxed on everything. So 7,000 attack power, maxed LB, maxed human. Yep, maxed on everything. She did the most damage, but there's a good chance she's going to be losing her gun in peril because I think I'm not taking Louise to reruns. I don't know yet. Aerith, base form, just some Spirit, Zidane's STMR. And is Aerith even worth it? I don't know. This is like the day one stuff. Shift form, geared for damage. I forgot the damage breakdown. I'm pretty sure it was trashed here. Like, she doesn't do good damage. But she did have 250 LB, 50 Beast, and 175 Human. Anyway, the only thing she really brought was the 400% stat buff. Is that worth an entire party slot? I don't know. I don't know. We'll figure it out later. Tifa, base form, just, some spirit, auto buffing, rallying cry. Shift form, double hand build. I only gave her 5 times chain cap. According to the builder, it's more damage to go with more killers as opposed to an extra chain cap. I don't know. I do what I'm told. So that's what it said to do. So she was geared for maxed LB, 150 beast, and 300 human. She did pretty bad damage. I have a 99% sure she is not coming to reruns. I don't think she's going to be here in reruns. Sephiroth did relatively decent. I was going to make him a healer, so he's got like the Tome of Lakshmi. I don't think we actually used healing on him. We did heal one time on turn 5. Probably wasn't even important. But in any case, the base form just has spirit. Shift form, damage. He did decent damage. He might have had a bad variant roll because he's actually geared pretty well, honestly. 7,400 attack, maxed everything. Yeah, maxed human, maxed beast, and maxed LB damage. And that was the team. So, yeah, I see multiple ways I can be improving this. So, improvements will come later. See you guys soon.